AI demand continues to explode. We continue to hear about shortages impacting every part of this industry. And on today's episode, I want to take a closer look at three stocks that I believe are completely directly impacted by this news. I also want to take a closer look at some negative news impacting Nvidia and my overall thoughts. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Hope everybody had a great Monday. Unfortunately, for a lot of the big names, there wasn't much movement. We saw some red. I don't think it's anything crazy, right? Compared to the great week we've had last week. Nothing I would cry about. We see AMD down roughly 1.2%. We see Broadcom down 1.7%. We see Meta down roughly 2.5%. So nothing compared to the returns we've seen. I don't think anything was that bad. Now, there were some names in this community that we follow at the What the Chip Happened community that are doing extremely well today. Credo Technologies up roughly 8.6% at $174. We talked about this in the 100s. Air Test Systems, we talked about this in the teens, up roughly 7.5% at the 8. Marvell up nearly 6%, sitting at $148. Synopsys, a new stock in the portfolio, now up to $460. Now, this is a channel where we learn a lot about the AI and semiconductor market, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Now, let me just say, with this overall excitement, I'm personally not buying high beta names. I'm happy to see what's happening in my portfolio, but I'm not out there purchasing any of these high beta names because the opportunity came for us earlier, and that's when we were getting a lot of those videos out. Now, I mentioned that there were a lot of news impacting the overall space. The first thing we saw here from Wall Street Engine, they posted that for a report that global DRAM supply is on track to meet only about 60% of demand through 2027, as Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron keep prioritizing AI memory. Memory can make up nearly 40% of low-end smartphone build costs by mid-2026, up from 20% now. So two things here, in my opinion, and it's something we've been discussing in this overall channel. The first thing is, I think consumer tech is gonna suck, right? We can see memory could be nearly 40% of low-end smartphone build cost, up from 20% and up from most likely a lot lower just a few years ago. The cost of memory is going to create a massive impact, especially on the low-end products, low-end phones, low-end laptops, low-end smartwatches. The list goes on and on. And if you are in a company that deals with a lot of revenue coming from consumer goods, I think it might be a bad time in the short term. Eventually, things will pick up, but in the short term, I do believe that's going to be an impact. Now, the second thing we see here is they believe that supply is only on track to meet about 60% of demand through 2027. And they're not going to go to 100% in 2028, right? So it showcases that this demand in the AI industry and the shortage in memory is going to last a while. And if there is a shortage in memory, there's going to be a shortage in AI chips, and there's going to be so much shortage that we are going to continue to be compute constrained. And obviously, companies that can benefit from here are Micron and anybody in the memory ecosystem, right? We talked a lot about some of the memory companies in the overall ecosystem, but Micron would be one of those stocks for sure. Let me know what are some of your other memory companies. Now, the second thing I want to take a closer look at, and Matthew Sigel, and I'm pretty sure I butchered his name. He is the head of digital asset research at VanEck, and he mentioned that the largest Bitcoin miners have become pioneers in providing AI infrastructure. The largest turnkey Bitcoin ASIC design partner has now become the largest CPU design partner for AI demand-driven CPUs like those made by Google's, Microsoft, and soon xAI. Morgan Stanley estimates for 2026 Google CPU shipments are now 2x where HSBC base case was just 3 months ago, as the shift from legacy x86 picks up. Now, I don't know what this stock is, right? They talk a little bit about the stock, but what do we hear here? There is a massive shortage in the CPU market, something we've been discussing again in this channel, and this is why you need to hit the subscribe button. CPU shortage is going to continue, right? The main reason is AI agentic is here. Agents are using software solutions. I mean, today we saw Adobe, right? Adobe and Nvidia announced a partnership, right? Of Adobe autonomous AI at scale. Adobe agents unlock breakthrough creative intelligence with NVIDIA and WPP. So I like a close up of a small tropical bird to go into a film in for our latest campaign. And it goes on and goes on. And it kind of, you have all these agents working on Adobe, doing different things like color correction, doing whatever with the voice, adjusting something. To be running Adobe in the backend, you need a CPU. So you have all these agents opening up Adobe or doing something with Adobe. You're going to see a massive demand for both the inference that's happening in the GPU space, but the workload of the application happening in the CPU space. So this is just more of an indication of where I think AI is going with AI agentic and why CPUs are crucial. Obviously, who is a big winner here? AMD. We can see a lot of other CPU players as well. Now, where are we going to start looking for investments? Obviously, we own companies like AMD in our portfolio. Some people might have Intel, some people might have ARM. But to me, it's like with the CPU shortage, what kind of materials, what kind of process, what kind of equipment is needed to kind of build this CPU shortage out and out over time? And that's where I'm going to be doing a lot of research in the overall community in the upcoming weeks and the upcoming days. Now, what else do we have? We have reports that, according to semi analysis, Micron has re entered the market as an HBM supplier for NVIDIA Rubin. Our previous view was based on the assumption that NVIDIA had not ordered HBM4 from Micron, as NVIDIA initially relied on SK Hynix, followed by Samsung. I don't necessarily know why this was a theory, especially because Micron, right, had talked about in the past that they were actually doing really good with HBM4. Now, again, this is overall more excitement though for Micron and the overall memory companies as you continue to see all these players go to all these other AI chip players, right? And to kind of see Micron doing really well with HBM4, they have other opportunities as well with any other AI chip market, being AMD, being TPUs, being GPUs, being LPUs, and the list goes on and on. Maybe not LPUs, because LPUs are SRAMs, but regardless, ASIC solutions, there's a lot of players, there's a lot of different chips being made out there. The HBM market is at a complete shortage. Now, we saw a lot of excitement recently for Marvell, and we kind of talked a little bit about this a few days ago, I think yesterday and sometime last week, where Marvell had reportedly won Google's TPU business. Recently, this morning, we saw that JPM says reports that Marvell won Google CPU business are false, arguing Google is talking to multiple parties while Broadcom remains the clear incumbent. Now, this is again, I don't want to say it over and over and over again, but we kind of knew this, right? We've talked about this where if you are Broadcom, you shouldn't be worried of Google working with another player. There is so much demand for AI chips. There's so many different styles of chips. There's so many different workloads that Google signed a multi-year framework with Broadcom, I think till 2031 or 2032. Obviously, Marvell isn't going to take their CPU business. They just signed a massive deal, right? And I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I can provide a lot better information than a lot of these analysts. But what's happening right now is that the market is compute constraint. Again, we say that word very often. I think the whole market is saying this, but we've been saying this for like the past 6 months. Compute constraint is definitely here. And if you are Google, if you want to build more compute, how do you do it? You work with all these other players because obviously Marvell has kind of secured some form of supply line, right? They secured some form of HBM. They secured some form of task from TSMC, of supply line from TSMC. So if Broadcom can no longer get more, if Nvidia can no longer get more, if AMD can't get any more, what is the only way you can get more and more AI chips is if you work with other players that have that kind of supply chain line strength as well. And Marvell is there. So, well, the TPU business, it's not necessarily a binary result. Just because Marvell wants something, it doesn't mean it's bad for Broadcom. Just because Broadcom wants something, it's not necessarily bad for Marvell. Both these players in the current ecosystem, the ecosystem can change, but in the current ecosystem are going to see opportunities. And this is what gets me pretty excited about the AI industry right now. Now, so obviously, this is bullish for Marvell. The stock, like we saw, was up roughly 5%, sitting almost at $150. Now, one thing that I actually saw that was pretty cool was we continue to see a shortage in a lot of things. One of the shortages is actually labor for building data centers. And we're going to look at kind of the negative news in a bit that we have for Google. But we saw that thousands could train for data center jobs as Meta expands US build out. And so Meta is expanding their US build outs of data centers, and you need technical technicians to build out this infrastructure. It seems like Meta has teamed up with a company called CBRE, which is a person that provides, I guess, these types of employments and this type of talent. And it's interesting to see where you can kind of think of opportunities, right? We saw the shortage in CPUs. So obviously companies in the CPU market are doing good. You see shortage in the memory space. So obviously companies in the memory space are doing good. If we're seeing labor shortages, and maybe you guys can let me know some labor shortages companies or some companies that provide workers into data centers that are going to benefit dramatically if they haven't already. Right. So this is the type of information that we have to keep a closer eye on. Where are the shortages happening? What are kind of the strengths behind it? How long can this shortage last? And is it worthwhile investing? With the market cap of $44 billion, I'm going to do some research. I don't know yet, but I am going to start looking at this as well. Right. There's so many shortages. There's shortages on wafers, on substrates, on CoWoS equipment, not necessarily the CoWoS itself, but the CoWoS substrates and materials. There's so many shortages, optics, memory, CPUs, GPUs, so much shortage happening in this industry that there's definitely a lot of ways to play it out. And that's why you have to make sure to join me at whatthechiphappen.com. This is a community that I built for serious semiconductor and AI investors. You get exclusive live streams, you get conference coverages, you get deep dives on earnings, and so much more. Now, the final topic I want to talk about is there are reports that NVIDIA's GB300 shipments are slowing as data center infrastructure lags. According to Semi Analysis, shipment estimates for both the GB300 and VR and DL72 have been revised, with GB300's shipments now showing a slowdown. The issue is not demand, but infrastructure readiness. Some cloud service providers still do not have their data center infrastructure fully operational, which is causing a slight delay in overall shipments compared to previous expectations. Now, a few things I would say. I don't know if this is true or not, but if it is true, it could create a sell off on a lot of these AI stocks. Now, sell offs like this, in my opinion, are buying opportunities. Whenever we see a sell off, and if this is driven to be the reasons for the sell off, I believe it's a buying opportunity because when this happens, if we start to see this and maybe we hear it in the upcoming earnings, a bit of a slowdown, the market is not going to look at it as anything good, right? They're going to look at it as, oh, snap. This is not really a lag delay. What's actually happening is these companies are slowing down AI infrastructure because demand is no longer there. So this must be the top of the AI bubble, right? That's the bearish thesis that's going to play out with news like this, especially if we hear anything correlated to it during the earnings is the AI bubble is dead. Now, again, following this channel, you should know that the AI bubble, at least in my opinion, the AI demand is nowhere near the end. So if there's any delays, and I talked about this in the past, that the biggest issue for AI right now is the supply chain. Some hiccups in the supply chain could make it seem like a pocket of weakness. And that pocket of weakness, that in my opinion is not truly a pocket of weakness, but the optics look like a pocket of weakness, create a massive sell-off. And that massive sell-off would be a buying opportunities and investors that understand that this AI story and this AI innovations is still happening will see that as a buying opportunity. So I just wanted to warn people if they might see this and get a little bit scared. I personally don't think that the AI story is dead, and any sell off would be welcome from me, and massive sell off would be welcome for me to buy a lot and a lot of stocks. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Remember the three stocks that I believe got definitely some bullish impact with the overall news, who is memory players like Micron. We saw the CPU market shortage with companies like AMD, and then with Marvell, obviously, even though they might not have won the TPU business, it doesn't mean they did not win a contract with Google. Maybe we'll learn a little bit more and get a confirmation later on, but I don't think it's impossible. So take care, have a good day, and see you all next time.